So today we are going to make a rim in 3ds Max, and there's really only a couple things that you need to understand about making a rim. The first thing is what we're going to do is when you're making a rim, you are ultimately making just the outer part, unless you actually need the rim itself. So this is pretty much what we're going to focus on in this tutorial. The big thing here is the cap segments we are not going to need, and the big thing is making sure we have the correct number of sides. So I'm going to start out with 5 sides, and the logic behind this ultimately is we are going to create only a section of this, and in this case most rims have 5 lug nuts, so we're going to keep it like that. And so at 5 sides, then what we're going to do is we are going to create a multiple so we get the round. So if we're going to do 5 sides here, I'm going to times this by 5, 25 here, and so there we go. So this is 25 segments. Now I'm going to make sure I get some insert segments, so this is the big thing. So I'm going to make sure I get a couple of these, and the reason I'm going to do that is so that I don't have to fight with finding centers and stuff like that. So with that in place, then I'm going to go into convert it to an editable poly by right clicking on it, and I am going to go in then and make sure that my 5 segments here are pretty much smack dab in the center. So I'm going to get rid of the first half like this. I don't need that. I'm going to get rid of, we're going to go here, and I'm just going to go through, and I need 5 segments. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So that's my 5 segments. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off of that. I'm going to go Tools, Array, and I am going to use 5 segments here, and I'm just going to rotate it in the Z axis. So that should be working. So you'll see when you do it that I'm just going to go around until I hit the 72 degrees. Everything looks good. I'm going to make sure I have instance. I'm going to click OK, and that is my initial thing. Now for this purpose, I'm just going to get rid of all of this stuff on the bottom. I don't need it. I'm just focused on the rim section here, and so that's what I'm going to work on. So I am going to first click this, and I'm going to hit delete, and then I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to hit delete. So it's kind of a weird looking rim, but that will do the job. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the hole here, the lug nut hole. So I'm going to essentially grab that here, and I'm going to grab that there, and I'm going to grab that there. So I've got basically a real tight kind of lug nut center, if you will. What I'm going to do is go in and grab these 4 polygons. Let's do it this way. We're going to click this, click here, and I'm going to add a sphere of phi. Sphere phi. And there we go. That's a nice rounded section. Now, the problem with doing this is that it gets rid of my edit poly, so I'm going to have to add another edit poly on top of that. And if I collapse this, the problem is going to happen that basically I can't manipulate these others, so I'll just have to array them, if that makes sense. So in this case, I'm going to just do some quick modeling. Grab this and grab that. I'm going to move that all the way down like so. I'm going to grab this vertice. I don't need that, so I'm going to move that here. I'm going to, we're going to add in a, let's see here. We're going to add in some dimension to it. So most of these rims have a couple loops. So I'm just going to add a loop here, and we're going to add some silly stuff to it. So I'm just going to go like this. We're going to extrude that outward. I'm going to go in and grab, let's just grow this. So 1, 2, 3. This is going to come upward like this. I'm going to go in the edge mode here, grab these two edges, something like that. I don't know, that looks good. What's some other things I can do? I can grab all of this and I can extrude that outward. Now, one of the things that you want to do, make sure, is anytime you extrude anything on the edge, so if I hit Alt Q, that will show me this edge here. Anytime I do that, make sure you grab these side pieces and hit delete. You can always turn off this here. So now that should line up pretty good. And then again, if you're, depending on how you're doing this, like what's your end result, we can add in more things. Like I can add in, I can do something stupid like this. And again, at this point, it just boils down to design. So I'm just going to inset this, and we're going to just extrude that inward, something like that. Something simple, just a little bit design-wise. But again, worry about your design. But the ultimate idea is once you're done with your design, you can simply grab all of these pieces, make that individual, and then I'm going to attach all these pieces like so. And then I'm going to go in my vertices. I'm going to grab all of my vertices and I'm going to target weld this. You'll notice that it just basically, I'm just doing 0.1. So that is that. And that will connect all the pieces together. And then if you want, you can always add in, something like a shell or something, add some depth into it. A shell will be very easy to kind of work with. So I'm just going to add a shell, and I'm going to make sure that I don't mess with my outer mount, but I'm going to just do an inner mount here, something along the lines of like this. And the other aspect is once you're all done with this, then you can, if you're going to subdivide it, make sure that it looks good during the subdivide. But ultimately, that is how to make a rim. I don't like my shell, but ultimately that's how to make a rim, and there you go. That's pretty much the setup to make a rim in 3ds Max. So if you like this, feel free to subscribe and check out my other stuff. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Talk to you later. Bye.